Hi, it's Jim Owens. I hope you're doing well as most of the country is trying to go back to work, or at least much of the country is trying to go back to work. And that's prompted continued discussion with our clients about strategic planning. And we often talk to folks early on in our relationships with them about existential risk and how to mitigate those risks. In short, an existential risk is something that can kind of put you out of business. It could be the death of a significant shareholder or employee. It could be something related to a supply chain problem if you have a single vendor that provides the raw material for you to develop and produce a product. It could be a number of different things. A dramatic change in the regulatory environment is one of the things that we deal with one of our clients. And so we think about this reputational risk and the existential consequences of it. Most of us don't face those kinds of immediate, instantaneous kinds of deaths. We face this long or slower erosion of our reputation within our client base and also within our employee base. So we want to talk about both of those today for just a few minutes. So as you're getting ready to go back to work, one of the things that are going back into the production environment and where people are coming back into your office or into your plant, well, one of the things you need to ask yourselves is, how well have I communicated with my clients during the disruption that we've gone through? And particularly, how well have I communicated with those, if the 80-20 rule holds true in your organization, with those clients that represent a large portion of the value of my revenue stream? Those are the clients that we suggest that C-suite employees or C-suite leaders are in touch with directly. I don't think it's acceptable for those clients to only hear from their sales rep or from someone who handles customer service from you. They need to hear from you directly. And what do they need to hear? Well, they need to hear the truth. If you failed to deliver a product or service throughout this process of disruption, you probably just need to own it. And by owning it, I mean, don't make excuses about how you couldn't control the supply chain, about why the government prevented you from being able to open your doors. Those all may be true, but those don't matter to your clients. What matters is, what are you doing now, and how can you change this and prevent me from having these problems that perhaps have been caused for them as a result of your inability to deliver that product or service. I think people want the truth. Most businesses are built not just on product differentiation and price alone. They're built on a relationship and a relationship between individuals. So when you take that relationship to heart and you look to restore that, I think most of the time people are going to give you the benefit of the doubt. And the other thing you need to communicate to them is how you're responding now and what plans you have in place to continue to provide the level of service that they are used to or the product that they are used to receiving in a given period of time. If you can't deliver those things, then just admit it. But if you can and you have a plan, you need to share that as well, and you better have a plan. But you share the plan, but make sure it's a plan where expectations are properly set. If you set an expectation that's way up here and you're only able to deliver down here, then you're going to have another problem, and you're going to erode the goodwill that you have, what we call relationship equity with your clients. So you want to talk to them, you want to tell them the truth, you want to tell them what it is, essentially, that you're going to under-promise and over-deliver in terms of whatever it is you have by way of a relationship. Now, hopefully, all of you had something on your website. You had communicated with people and told them about what they should expect. I've dealt with at least one company that kind of forgot to do that and had continued orders going through their pipeline on their internet web-based services, and they weren't able to meet them, and it's been impossible to reach a human being either by phone, by email, or by chat as a result of things that they really couldn't control. But what they could have controlled was the messaging that was related to the disruption in business related to the COVID-19 virus. So hopefully they will have experienced, they'll have some relationship equity and some understanding with you with regard to what you faced, largely by no consequence and no fault of our own. Nobody can control a little virus that floats around out of our, and share. We don't even know who we got it from most of the time, I don't think. So, and I say got it from, as far as I know, I haven't had it. I hope you haven't either. So communicate with your client, Tell them the truth, tell them what your new plans are, and then make sure everyone in your organization understands that A, you've talked to those people, because they need to know that too, right? They need to understand that you as a C-suite executive are putting yourself in front of the client, or as a line of business head, whatever the right level of engagement is with your senior leadership. It's really important to let those people hear from you, and you're going to tell them the things that we've already talked about. Now, there's another reputational risk that you may overlook, and that's related to your employee base. In the research we've done and in the research that we read, the primary problem or the challenge that most leaders think of strategically is, what's the next level of leadership? Who's going to succeed me and other people? And how can I assure myself that those people are ready? Well, your key employees, you should probably treat just like you treat your key customers. You now obviously don't want to show favoritism in ways that creates ill will with other clients, with other employees, but you certainly want to make sure you reinforce the value of those critical employees and what they mean to you as leaders and producers within your organization. Could be a top salesperson. It could be somebody who's really effective in your production line, that really seems to grasp bigger things than simply one task that they deal with. It could be a shop foreman. It could be any number of different people, a sales manager. But you need to make sure that they hear from you as well, particularly if you think they have faced some specific challenge. An email won't cut it. A text is okay. A phone call is great, but if you can see them face to face from 6 feet apart, then I think you're going to have a far better response to from those folks about their happiness with working with the company. Employee satisfaction, engagement, the things that we talk about regularly with our clients. It's always surprising to me what I hear from employees when we do employee engagement work that they're frustrated about. So one of the things that I think you should do is ask your employees, your key folks, and have the rest of your leadership team doing the same thing, is, hey, what's your experience been like over the last 2 or 3 weeks? What did the company do well? What could we have done better? How are our customers, how are they responding? What are you afraid of? You're going to find that some of their families have suffered dramatic losses. In my family, we've not lost anyone, but I do have, she's effectively a niece, she's really a cousin, who's a very brave EMT who was dispatched to the New York City area. And after 16 days, she came home. She's now in quarantine. Now, fortunately, she's young and she's healthy, but she did contract the virus, and she's tired and ready to see her family again. But she's got to wait until she's gone through the period of quarantine. So you're going to hear some stories, and I want you to give your folks time to share their stories. It is a cathartic thing for when you talk to folks about your own struggles and challenges, and you just listen. They don't want to hear you fix their problem. They just want somebody to listen and understand what they've been through. I think you should anticipate some challenges with regard to productivity, because people are going to come back to work under whatever circumstances they are. Perhaps there's a shift put in place between, say, a group of employees are coming in at 7, they're working till noon, you're re-cleaning your facility, then there's another shift coming in at 2 and working till 7, whatever the numbers are, or you're staggering the entire work day or work week for people. And so they're going to want to talk to one another and hear each other's stories. And a Zoom meeting is great, but it's not the same thing as a face-to-face meeting, as we've all learned now. All the human development studies that we know about and have heard, the power of touch, the power of the human voice, those things, eye contact, cannot be replaced by a Zoom meeting or by video. Although we share a lot of what we do by video, we still want to talk to our clients face to face. We do Zoom meetings, but we also want to be able to talk to them on telephone and communicate in multiple ways. But ask people what it is their experience has been like. What can we do better? How can we become a better place to work as a result of this? And ask them to tell you who that you should be concerned about that you might otherwise miss. This is what we call authentic leadership. Authentic leadership is just the ability to acknowledge that you have struggles, that they have struggles, your people have struggles, that you want to listen and that you want to learn from them as much as you want them to follow you into a certain path so that you can produce a product or service that matters to your clients, and so that everyone has a job and everyone has an income and the ability to take care of their families. Now, one of the things we'll begin to talk about in the next couple of videos is your balance sheet and your income statement, and we'll talk about some revenue generation strategies that might be useful to you in terms of where the opportunities are as a result of the COVID-19 virus and getting back to work. A lot of people are not going to survive this business, and what we call bounded enthusiasm, or not going to survive this pandemic in terms of the businesses, they're not going to survive. The weaknesses have been revealed in all of our organizations, in our families, in our personal kind of sense of well-being, and in our government especially. Unfortunately, this thing has revealed some really deep cracks in the social fabric, if you will. But that said, with the revelation of those, you can take action. And those people who haven't been able to survive it organizationally, that will leave you an opportunity to expand your revenue stream in things you're already doing, but it may also lead to the opportunity to do some new things. And that's why we think our advice or our counsel, the services that we offer, we help people kind of reflect on things that they may already know. And much of what we do, we admit, you could do yourself. You just don't have the time. You're too busy running your business to be able to deal with all the things that it takes to be an operating officer, to be a C-suite executive, and really give the time you need to give to strategic planning, to risk management, and some other things that we help our clients with, including research into new opportunities. So I will close with that and wish you the best. This has been a little bit longer video. We're going to do a little more substance, so they will be a bit longer in the future. Again, I'm Jim Owens. If you want to find out more about Performance Strategies Group, you can find us on the web at psghsv.com. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook under the same names, Performance Strategies Group. You can find me, James I. Owens Jr., on LinkedIn. Don't use a lot of the company. In fact, I don't remember the last time I posted anything on the company's site there. We'll be getting out a newsletter here shortly, an email. If you'd like to know some more things about our strategic planning process and risk management, we will be glad to talk to you. We've been doing some 90-minute or so conference calls that are free to in fact, I have another one to get on here shortly, that are free just to talk through issues with you. One of the things we feel like we've been able to do is provide people with encouragement and build relationships during this time rather than worry about getting a paycheck. And so we'll look forward to hearing from you. I hope you all stay well. Again, I'm Jim Owens, and I hope you have a great day.